Mr. Salve, you want to respond to that? At the end of the day, some would argue, and P. Chidambaram, the Home Minister, told CNN-IBN the other day that spending 20 years on death row sometimes can be worse than the death penalty per se.
Well, I really don't know whether that is true, because that's a matter for psychiatric research, and what is true for one may not be true for the other. But let me respond to what Kamini said. Kamini is absolutely correct. As far as the normal trial process is concerned, we cannot sacrifice the safeguard in our criminal justice system only because the way we run our criminal justice system is so incompetent. The trials which should take 3 months take 3 years or 5 years. You're saying this will go to the High Court. Nothing prevents the High Court from dealing with this appeal in the next 3 months. And if it comes to the Supreme Court, nothing prevents the Supreme Court from dealing with it in the next 3 months. If we want to do it, we can do it. It's a question of how seriously you take it. But the saddest thing is what the central government is doing. They are sitting on that Afzal Guru mercy plea. Say yes or say no if you feel it's a case for mercy. I don't think so. But if you think it's a case for mercy, say so. And if you think it's not a case for mercy, say so and get it over and done with. That's one answer.
Are you saying special courts, are you saying right down the line the judicial system then either needs an amendment by which special courts are there specifically for acts like this, like the 2003 blast, and you create a system which is fast track?
You don't need a special court, Rajdeep. It happens all the time. Supreme Court expedites cases and says, please hear this trial from day to day. You don't need a special court. Just request one judge, spare a judge, and tell him that you will take this case from day to day and finish it off.
But that didn't happen in the 93 Mumbai blast case. You can have day-to-day trials, and even those can drag on for a long time.
See, the trouble is then we have a bit of overkill in our system. You have clubbed 100 cases, and what we have to do, and this is one procedural amendment we have to bring, plus we need a bit of robust judgery. What happens is each one of the 100 accused says, I have a complete right to cross-examine a witness from start to finish. You need a tough judge who will deal with it. In fact, I think the time has come where we must reconsider reinstating the original side of the High Court for certain serious crimes, where you have a senior High Court judge who will be able to control proceedings. Today what happens is in a sessions court, I've seen it myself as special public prosecutor in the Unsal trial, how long it took. After I finished submissions, each of the accused said, we have a full right to argue. And that sessions judge said, very well, please go on.
Ms. Jaiswal, I just want to close.
It's a question of court management.
Court management, okay. And perhaps fast track trials in the sense. Ms. Jaiswal, just to close this argument, we know capital punishment in the rarest of rare cases. Is it now time to bring terror into that ambit and say it's a rarest of rare case, and that's why only, and that's how you can stop this continuous?
You can.
Spit. Go ahead.
No. You cannot say terror is. Who is going to identify what is terror? Today we don't even have an act to deal with terrorism. We have to go under the normal Indian Penal Code. In fact, before I go into this answer, I want to add something to what Harish has said.
56 people died, in a blast, which is.
I am not saying no. I am not saying it's not an act of terror. I am only saying that hundreds of people died. 2,000 people died in Gujarat. How many have been hung?
Okay,
2,500 people. How many have been hung? I mean, what are we talking about? Today we are living in an age of terror. There is state terrorism and there is the fanatic terrorism.
So you're saying a religious riot would also classify as terror, and therefore the death penalty should also be applied there.
Why not? Anybody killing another person, as far as the victim is concerned, it is an act. I mean, he has lost a life. A family has lost a breadwinner. How do we identify? How do we discriminate?
Okay.
I mean, let us, and like we are talking of, we don't get to the higher people, there was an NN Vora committee report which talked of the political nexus in this and how the terrorist funds were going. The Hawala matter talked of the terrorist funds coming and going to various politicians. What have we done about that? Aren't they the bigger criminals? Why don't we hang some of them?
Okay, only the foot soldiers get hung. It's that's a valid point. I think that's a fair point. Kamini, Jaiswal, Harish, Salve, appreciate your joining us here. This debate could continue endlessly, but let's hope that at least the judgments don't continue endlessly. Thanks very much for joining us. Okay.